this week I'm calling it, Do You Mind? And it can be said in so many different ways, like, do you mind? Or do you mind? Or do you mind? It can be said in so many different ways, but it is mind. And what showed up this week was very much mind. And it showed up initially with someone who, again, connected to see what was going on, because having lost a loved one, the mind didn't want to mind. It wasn't ready to mind. It was still in this space of connection to love, where that profoundness was still in a space of non-mind, non-doing. So, do you mind? The answer was, I'm not ready yet to do the minding or mind. It was beautiful. And then later on during the week, someone came for a session who has gone through quite a lot on many different levels. And I've spoken about this couple before, where in fact the partner wanting to sort it out and dialoguing it and going further and deeper and minding more, and then the mind doesn't stop, and eventually what was really needed was for the partner to say, I'm here for you, I support you. Well, having gone through all of that and it coming to rest, what has arrived is this extraordinary depth of love for the partner and a deep knowing, I will never leave him. It's like the marriage had gone to a space that was permanent. Not out of a contract, not out of the marriage, not out of the ring, not out of any of that, but a sense of such depth. And there was no mind in it. Because when the mind was involved, it was having to work with unconditional love, making it okay, and having the capacity to do all of that. But this just blew it away to this depth where it just doesn't mind. And before the weekend started, someone came who was trying to sort things out, trying to mind what is it, what is going on. But what was going on was actually nothing to do with her. There are times and circumstances in our life where we are loved so much by all that is, that it will prevent certain things taking place until something is got. And when we're waiting for something, the irritation of it or the frustration of it brings you to a wall where you have to look and be okay with something and learn to be okay with, like deeply be okay with something. You know, it reminded me of a time when I actually had 3 indictable, false, they were made up. 3 false indictable offences were placed against me. And, you know, it took 3.5 years for that to be resolved. So to be in a state of okayness, understanding the truth of the situation and knowing that without a doubt that would be revealed, and what others do with it, I am not in control of. So I had to find a place where I literally would find a place of okayness where if I was in prison, put in jail, I would find my okayness and it would work out. Well, I was acquitted, and I did feel that was the truth, that that would happen, and it did. But you still have to not go to mind. You have to go to the okayness and knowing that there's something in you that can stand in those things. We are sent things to stand in because if we stand in them and go to the okayness, we know who we are because it's not in mind. The okayness is not in mind. It never stops. So she got to see that it wasn't hers. There was a process happening with her partner that was not for her to resolve. It wasn't for her to get. But in doing that, she could then stand beside it, allowing that to take place and to find her own way in the okayness. And then what was very paradoxical with another being that came was, I've got it written here, so the paradox of the nothing. The strengthening of a core of being in the ability to make something nothing, whether I go to jail, whether I don't go to jail. The paradox of the ability to make it nothing. Man, the strength that comes from that okayness, no one can take away from you once you've achieved it, once you've recognized it. Doesn't mean you're not going to be throwing more stuff. But it's a good step to feel inside yourself. And as I said, the strength to grow the core through standing in many situations, embarrassment, what other people think of you. I mean, the people in the court system thought I was nuts. But by the end of the process, I had befriended them. To be vulnerable to what other people decide or think about you. We all know it says more about them than it does about us. It comes from their thinking. It's thinking. Like, do you mind? That is what they're minding. But the deep love that showed up, it was so beautiful. Which actually went to someone who came and saw me, and I was really taken aback. I was listening, and it was like, are we really going there? That's the stuff that was happening 10 years ago. Are we really going there? And she saw it and said, yeah, I know, but yes, that's where I'm going. And we found it was going there because what was about to happen that found deep peace hadn't quite fallen into place yet. So it went to all the other stories. Like, is that another story that's going to happen? Is this just another one of those stories? And the truth of it was, there was great peace in it. And those stories were irrelevant. But, this is how we bring those stories in, and this is how we play them again. You want to play the story of 10 years ago, a week ago? You want to do that one again? Do you mind? Because your mind is doing that. And that went to a being that came, and this is always very, very tricky. When we come into the world with an aspect that is so completed, so done, that we come with it, and it comes with us like it's a nothing. The thing is, when it is a nothing, we can't see it. And if we can't see it, we can get trapped in the non-seeing of the nothing we already have. And in this case, it was esteem. The being came with esteem. And there's no doubt that with the esteem, much has happened in her life in a way that is a nothing to her. But those looking on go, wow, look at all the things that are in this life, but it's in the esteem and not seeing it. It strives for more or not enough, or is it really this or is it that, or what? And in not seeing the esteem, the ability to be in present time disappears. So there's exhaustion at the end of the day, and it's like, why am I so exhausted at the end of the day? Because her partner is standing in all sorts of things, coming home feeling fine. What's the matter with me? And it was the striving for that which already was there. So sitting with all of this, do you mind? I was speaking to a friend this morning, and I was saying, I really don't know whether to keep going with these shares or not, because my concern is, are we going to mind with them? I do not want to share these that you go to mind with them. I share them so you go to being, and to the capacity to go to the nothing, to keep revealing what we do and how we end up in valleys and streets and dead ends we don't want to really be in, because we don't know how to do you mind? Like, do you mind? Wrong road. Do you mind? It's what is your mind doing? And am I in fact bringing more to mind when it's got nothing to do with mind? So, it's been a year now, and I'm starting to question, is this actually, are we going down dead ends? I don't know where it sits. And I really do enjoy the nothing. So the cards that showed up were cooperation and consideration. How do we move with this in mind? I was also sharing with this friend this morning how I found it amazing that the beings who I've been with, who've gone through cancer process and in the process chosen to go through chemotherapy, blah, 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 and it's the same with pain to some extent, because going through chemo, the nausea can be extraordinary and it can take you down like you wouldn't believe. So it was a process of allowing that feeling to be a train that you let go by. It's a train, just let it pass. Don't get on the train, because if you go on the train, it's going to feel terrible. So those that had the capacity to not go on the train while they were going through the process found a quality in themselves that has never left them. That quality of not minding, not getting on the train, to just allow it to pass by, and then have that capacity to be the observer while it's going on, and they've gained something so precious that has never left them. So many thoughts and considerations of the non-mind. The last thing I want to do is bring more mind. So cooperation, cooperate with yourself. Don't give it such a hard time, because that's what the mind does. A balance of give and take is what is needed. Let go and allow that which is for your highest good. Now is the time for active participation in group projects, in active cooperation. You will gain much more than you anticipated. And to participate in groups takes a lot of not minding. When too much minding takes place, the group breaks up. Be responsive to all situations. Consideration. Pay attention. let nothing move past you without your examination, you know, and do you mind? Is it mind? What is it I'm minding? Don't let it pass beyond your examination, because if you examine it, you can just go, that's just mind. Be reflective. Do not make any hasty decisions, because minds love coming to hasty decisions, because then it's done, then I'm clear. Many special moments are unfolding for your attention. If you carefully look at what has brought you to this now moment, now, you will see how much of yourself deserves your loving consideration. Because the mind can be very, very cruel. So we'll sit with that and see where we go. As always, much love.